Good afternoon. You're listening to 91.3 FM WBNY, Buffalo's original alternative since 1982, brought to you by the Buffalo State Student Activity Fee. My name is Elijah Robinson, General Manager at WBNY, and I have tonight a wonderful guest, Rhett Repko. How are you doing tonight, Rhett?
I'm doing great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. So, tell us about your music. What sort of genres do you typically perform?
It falls under like a broad category depending on the song, but overall I just tell people alternative and pop and, of course rock as well. But those are the main three categories.
All right. How long have you been performing?
Performing like publicly, probably close to maybe 5 years now, something around there.
Right. From what I understand, your interest in music began at 15 when you started taking guitar lessons in high school. What inspired you to pick up the guitar at that age?
A lot of rock bands, especially not so much my favorite bands now, but bands like Guns N' Roses and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith, typical rock bands. And I played saxophone before that in middle school. But in high school, there was a guitar class, and I took the class just, to get credit, whatever, for high school. But once I picked up the guitar, I was like, okay, this is like way better because I can sing at the same time. The sax, that's not really possible. So the guitar was just a doorway to music, even more, I guess.
Do you still play the saxophone now?
I do not, sadly. It's just one of those things that kind of fell out with time. But I have recently recorded a new song with saxophone in it, so the sax is still very much part of like a sound that I love. I just don't play it.
All right. So, to the first song, which is the name of your most recent EP released, Can Someone Help Me Now?
Yep. All right, you ready?
Ready.
All right. She don't care what I say, but listens well. My heart's lost more than I am prepared to tell. Once again, I pretend that's all my fault. She don't love me, say goodbye, cause she ain't coming back anymore. Could someone help me now? 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 Blame me for your problems, but look who lied. Look for my love and you'll always get denied. Once again, I pretend that's all my fault. She don't love me, say goodbye, cause she ain't coming back anymore. Could someone help me now? 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 I don't wanna feel like I'm left all alone. That's what hurts me. Feel like I got nowhere left I can go. Could someone help me now? Left all alone with nowhere to go, chasing what I thought was once my home. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's gone, but either way, could someone help me now? Could someone help me now? Could someone help me now? She don't love me and she wants me to know. Could someone help me now? she don't need me, she wants me to go. Can someone help me now? Oh, oh, oh. Can someone help me now? Oh, oh, oh. Can someone help me now?
Awesome performance.
Thank you.
So what would you say about the influences in your music? From your site on the About link, your music contains a mixture of retro and modern technique. Would you mind explaining this further?
Yeah, I mean, I could really talk about it all day, but basically, I started out with a love of older songs, you know, like 90s and stuff, but really, really old stuff like the Beatles and like 50s and 60s. I just love those older songs and the way they used to write songs, you know. But, you know, within recent years, I have come to fall in love with, you know, more modern techniques and how clean and big recordings can sound. But I don't want it to go too far with my music, where it's just, where I don't want, not in a bad way, but it feels like a commercial song or just something that, you know, it's too in the box. So for me, this is the greatest struggle, but I'm always trying to combine both of those worlds. You know, I want that pure, good old songwriting and the recording techniques from the old days, but, you know, a splash of modern edge to it, you know, to make sure that people can relate to it and understand it and enjoy it today. So that's kind of my goal.
All right. In addition to that, you mentioned that Butch Vig and George Martin are inspirations when it comes to your music. And how would you say their influences come through in what you produce?
Depends on the song, because, you know, if it's a rock song, then obviously I'm going to be inspired somewhat in some regards by, you know, Nirvana and Butch Vig's production with their album Nevermind. Especially whenever I go for like a distorted guitar sound, basically my Bible of a distorted guitar sound is Nirvana's guitars. So, you know, just making sure that it has enough like of an edge and a bite to it, but it's not overly distorted where you can't hear the chord anymore. And something I love about Butch Vig's production is just, again, it's a perfect blend. You know, it's like it feels like it's highly produced, but it's not overstepping it, and it's not overly editing and taking away the heart out of the music. And it's the same reason why I love George Martin's production on the Beatles. You know, it's just them singing into microphones. You know, there's not a lot of too much fancy stuff going on. It just captures the human element, and that's my goal with my music, to capture the human element.
That leads me to another quote that I found that you've said before we move on to your next song, Late Nights. Quote, records today tend to be produced to perfection, but those aren't the ones we love. What do you mean by that, if it's not already self-explanatory?
Yeah, it's basically just that, especially if I'm working on a song, right? A new song, and I'm trying to record it, we're getting a mix of it down in the studio, and in my mind, I'm hearing this perfect version, you know? Like, whether it's the performance, vocally or instrumentally, or if it's the mix of it, you know, where everything is blend perfectly, and I'm like, oh, the bass is gonna hit hard, the vocals are gonna be beautiful and, like, easily heard and shiny, but, at the end of the day, like, sometimes I'm even having this right now with a new song I'm working on. Like they gave me multiple mixes, and I'm listening. I'm like, well, this one feels like it's a bigger mix. It's a little wider. It's a little bit more going on, but I kind of prefer the other one. Like the other ones. It's not that, and they're not even that different. You know, it's not night and day. But sometimes just this intangible thing, you know, where that's why we love a record. And I don't even know what it is about it. It's more you know when you feel it than hear it. So I'm always chasing that feeling. And sometimes songs have it, some they don't, even with my own, but the goal is to always get that feeling out of a song.
Well put. So that leads us to Late Nights.
Alright, Late Nights. It's one of my newer singles. Keep this much longer. You're the one my heart is after. It's been like that since I met you, and I don't think it will stop soon. Baby, I want your love tonight. Can't stop the feelings and I won't hide. Baby, I want your love tonight. Can't speak without your side. Late nights, can't get you out of my mind. Oh, daytime, and I'm still wishing you're mine. Oh, feels good to love again. Know that you're my best friend. On late nights, can't get you out of my mind. Oh, baby, I keep thinking about you, hoping that you feel the same too. Things aren't the same when you're gone. I need you back here in my arms. Baby, I want your love tonight. Can't stop the feelings and I won't hide. Baby, I want your love tonight. I can't speak without your side. Late nights, can't get you out of my mind. Oh, daytime, and I'm still wishing you're mine. Oh, feels good to love again. Know that you're my best friend. On late nights, can't get you out of my mind. Oh, late nights, 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 late nights. Feels good to love again. Know that you're my best friend. On late nights, can't get you out of my mind. Oh, late nights, can't get you out of my mind. Oh, daytime, and I'm still wishing you're mine, you're mine. Oh, feels good to love again. Know that you're my best friend. On late nights, can't get you out of my mind. Oh, late nights, 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 late nights.
Excellent. Thank you, Rhett.
Thanks.
So, for our listeners out there and your fans, where can our listeners reach you at and get in contact with you?
Just typically any social media, you know. Instagram is probably the easiest one. You can always just comment or send me a message, and I try to get back to people. There's always Facebook, YouTube. I'm trying to do a little bit of TikTok lately. I'm not the best at it, but you know. And yeah, I think those are the main ones, right? Maybe Twitter, but...
All right. So, what would you say, how would you describe your process of songwriting and producing?
It can be a very simple process or a long process, but it's kind of on the longer side. But start with a song. Always try to get a melody, especially maybe a couple melodies, because you want a verse melody and a chorus melody. Maybe you want a third one for a bridge or whatever, but start with the melody. And then as soon as I feel like I have that, the melody and chords, I'll start immediately trying to put like a demo of it. You know, I'll go into Pro Tools and start recording. And then once I have the guitar and the vocal, that's what I always start with. Although sometimes I do write on piano, but even if I write a song on piano, into the computer it always goes on guitar. So guitar and vocals. And then from there I just start building it, you know, and I don't know what it's going to turn into. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's going to be a rock song. But I start adding stuff and it's like, maybe I'll start adding synths and, you know, a drum kit, and it turns out to be like a pop song or a ballad. You never really know where it's going to end up. And some songs that I think are going to be a big song, like, you know, you kind of build up the arrangement and you're like, I don't know if it's a single, you know. And then other songs that you're like, this is definitely like, it's a B side, it's an album, it's not a single, but you work on it for, a week or a couple months, whatever it may be, and it ends up being like, wow, this has to be like the single. And I think that was the case with Late Nights, I just thought it was a pretty song, but it didn't feel like it had this big single, like simple message behind it. But it turned out to kind of have that. So you just never really know what you're going to end up with.
Right. And considering that you self-produced 2 EPs, what have you learned from those experiences that contributed to your professional success?
It's kind of a difficult-ish question. I guess just honestly, not even those EPs, but just every recording I make, I learn more. So I obviously learned a lot with the 2 records, the first 2 that I made, because I really did everything with it. I had a band that played on it, but I recorded them and I mixed the whole thing through and through. I remember thinking to myself, like, especially my second one, Thanks for the Ride, I always felt like I made a better mix than I could have at the time. And I don't know what that means, but what I think I mean is I just put so much time into it for like 2 months. I was mixing that record, and I guess it just made me realize, like, if you want a great song or a great single, it doesn't just end with the song. Like, the production has a lot that goes into it, and the fact that I was willing to spend so much time and make sure, like, okay, make sure that's the right vocal take, make sure that guitar is hitting hard enough, we're gonna recut those guitars, we're gonna do 10 mixes. Like, you just keep working at it until it feels like, basically I keep working at it until it's not that I want to make a change anymore, but once I get to the point where I keep hitting play and I'm not like, oh, I need to change that, like, that's when I'm like, oh, this is pretty good and I think it's about to be done. So just keep working towards that point, I guess.
Right. And before we go into our next song, Thanks for the Ride, considering all these processes that you've learned, who have been mentors in your life that helped you acquire this knowledge and put it into practice as well as you've done?
That's a pretty good question. There's been a few along the way. It's honestly mostly been, not to put it back on myself, but it has been a lot of myself and trial and error. Just figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and if it doesn't work, then try something new. Like, don't keep making the same mistake. But there's a few people. My producers that I really like right now in Nashville, Zod Lounge, the past few years have been very good with taking my music and just recording it well. I have a good friend named John DeLang in Nashville who's been a good mentor. And then also in college, this is kind of before I started performing publicly and my career kind of to take off, but my professor, Alan Wanenberger, he was a big mentor, and he helped me develop a lot of my recording skills, especially the early half of them. So those are the main ones.
All right. And you mentioned you recorded in Nashville. Going back to your site, you went to record in Nashville to expand your sonic capabilities. Would you mind talking about your experiences, or talking more about your experiences recording in Nashville?
Yeah, basically I've worked with, I think, about 4 different producers in Nashville, and every time you learn something. My goal is, I don't have to learn something, but, if they do something, whether it's a production technique or just, any kind of recording, like, oh, we're gonna use this mic, or we're gonna sing this a couple times a certain way, like, I'm always trying to take a technique and be like, okay, and then for future demos, I implement those techniques into my new songs so that the songs are, like, more already ready to go. The new songs take less work in the recording process because I'm picking up all these skills that they're using and different techniques. So, like, one of the last songs that I just recorded recently, we didn't re-record much at all. We just re-recorded the vocals and added a saxophone, but, like, all the guitars stayed, all of the bass that I played, and I'm not even a great bassist, but all of that stayed because, like, I pay that much attention on the front end, So I think that has been helpful. Just trying to pay attention, see what they're doing, and implement it. Try and rely less on people to get it right. That's my goal.
Right. And why would you say that is a goal of yours?
Honestly, because it's more work for me on my end on the songwriting, but it's more peace of mind. Like, when the demo already sounds great and you're like, yeah, we could replace these guitars or replace these synths, but, like, we probably won't have to. Like, that feels good rather than getting on a plane, flying to Nashville. You're there for a few days, a week, and you're like, it's then like you have to get the right guitar sound, you have to get the right synth sound. It's a little nerve-wracking to put all that pressure. But now it's like, oh, I just gotta fly there. We just gotta we gotta look over the session, make sure there's nothing we want to change. Obviously, we're gonna redo the vocals just to get those right, and with the right attention to detail. But the less that you have to change in the end, it's less moving parts. It's more likely that the song's gonna turn out good in the way I want it.
Sounds good. So, moving on to our next song. Thanks for the ride.
Thanks for the ride.
I don't think we're right. I don't think you're my type, but I did have fun, so thanks for the ride. Maybe the next time, don't make me read your mind. Tell me what you like, but thanks for the ride. I'm sorry to say it, but baby, this was no secret. You knew what you were in for when you said you wanted love like this. Does it turn you off, knowing that you might be wrong? I hate to see you unhappy, but baby, what else can you be? I don't think we're right. I don't think you're my type, but I did have fun, so thanks for the ride. Maybe the next time, don't make me read your mind. Tell me what you like, but thanks for the ride. I'm thinking I need a break, something that lets me escape. Once you go from my life, yet you still want me to stay. Oh no, here she goes, claiming her half of my soul. She thinks that I'm going crazy. Does she know what she's like lately? I don't think we're right. I don't think you're my type, but I did have fun, so thanks for the ride. Maybe the next time, don't make me read your mind. Tell me what you like, but thanks for the ride.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rhett.
Thank you.
So, would you mind talking about your social media again for our audience and your fans?
Yeah, you can find me, the @ is always @Rhett Repko, just my name. And you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. And feel free to always leave a comment, send me a message. I always try and get back to people. It's always fun to hear what songs people like, because everyone has like a different favorite song, It's never just the same one. So I'm always interested in that.
Sounds good. So, we're about to wrap up here, but I want to know, from all the songs you've produced, what is one that really worked out extremely well, something you consider perfect?
Oh, I actually have one, but unfortunately it's not out yet, but it's done. And I don't know when it's gonna come out. I don't have a release date, but it's called Tell Me That It's Not Over. And it's a huge rock song, and it has my first song with a saxophone in it, which kind of pays tribute to, me playing sax in middle school. But it's gonna sound incredible, I think, and especially live when I play live again. I keep telling myself, like, I don't know how to write a better song, Like, it's like a beautiful thing and scary at the same time. Like, I think the best I can do is write a song just as good as that. But it's a perfect song, It's a perfect arrangement, And I'm not trying to, I know I'm like, it's a little egotistical or whatever, but I don't feel that way about all my songs. So let me have this one that I can feel good about, you know?
Right. And what are some of your future releases? What are you currently promoting?
Well, my current single that I'm promoting is Late Nights. That's my latest song, which I performed earlier tonight. And then the latest EP, I guess, is Can Someone Help Me Now? So depending if you want one song or like 5 songs, it would be those guys. But I don't have a future single decided yet. And I actually have a few songs that are done and recorded. And I'm already in the middle of filming a music video for one, but we're not sure what's going to be the next one yet, or if there's going to be an EP behind it. But definitely in 2022, there will be a new single, a big single. So I can't wait, you know?
Do you have any aspirations as far as where to perform, or where do you like to travel to expand your range of fans and listeners?
Really all over, you know, especially right now I'm focused on the United States just because, you know, that's my home country and I want to see more of it and travel more and meet more fans and play in more cities. A big thing for recording wise is, you know, I've been recording in Nashville a lot the past couple of years, but I actually just recorded my first song in Los Angeles about a week ago. So that's in a city, an area I want to keep expanding on in terms of production and, you know, other entertainment opportunities.
All right. And is performing in Buffalo one of your
that's
plans?
Definitely. Absolutely, actually, yeah. As soon as this whole COVID thing kind of takes a pause or I can get there and it makes sense, like Buffalo is high on my list to perform at.
All right. So with that, we're going to the final song, Lover, Won't You Come Back?
And I just want to say this is a brand new song that isn't even out yet. I just finished recording it in LA. It's not even mixed yet, but I'm very excited about it, so I want to give you guys a little sneak peek because this might be the next single. So if so, you guys are going to have the first acoustic version of it. I think that's kind of cool. Alright, this one's called Lover, Won't You Come Back?
Not always been the best girlfriend, but you'll always be in my heart. My memories will always be a part of my life. Not always been the best boyfriend, but I loved you with all my heart. I'd do anything to change your mind and love me again. Lover, lover, won't you come back? Don't you know I miss you in my arms? You know I want it, you know if I dream it, you know I mean it. Lover, lover, don't you hear me calling out your name straight from my heart? You know I want it, you know if I dream it, you know I mean it. You know I'm tired of driving around the same old empty parts of town, and I can't think, can't dream if you're gone. The songs aren't the same when you're gone. You know I'd miss the lazy days. We'd hang inside and talk all day, and we'd be dancing, singing all night, laughing till the sunrise. Lover, lover, won't you come back? Don't you know I miss you in my arms? You know I want it, you know if I dream it, you know I mean it. Lover, lover, don't you hear me calling out your name straight from my heart? You know I want it, you know if I dream it, you know I mean it. Won't you come back, won't you come back, 'cause I need you bad. Won't you come back, won't you come back, 'cause I need you bad. Remember the time you said you'd be there till the end. Well, I hope you're not gone, 'cause I didn't forget. And all the times I cried, I needed you by my side. I can't erase the past, but I promise that I want you back, babe. Lover, lover, won't you come back? Don't you know I miss you in my arms? You know I want it, you know if I dream it, you know I mean it. Lover, lover, don't you hear me calling out your name straight from my heart? You know I want it, you know if I dream it, you know I mean it. Won't you come back, won't you come back, 'cause I need you bad. Won't you come back, won't you come back, 'cause I need you bad. Won't you come back, won't you come back, 'cause I need you bad. Won't you come back, won't you come back, 'cause I need you bad.
Awesome. So, with that, we're going to say good night and goodbye to Rhett Repko. Once again, lastly, for our audience, would you mind telling our listeners and fans about your social media as well as your latest single that you released?
Yes, again, I'm Rhett Repko, and you can find me at Rhett Repko on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all that stuff, and, you know, Spotify, Apple Music. And my latest single out now is Late Nights, and you can find that online as well. There's a whole music video and everything to go with it. So thank you guys again for supporting my music so much, and yeah, had a lot of fun.
All right, wonderful. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for joining us, Rhett. And this has been The Local Show, and have a wonderful day. This was The Local Show on 91.3 FM WBNY Buffalo, Buffalo's original alternative since 1982, brought to you by the Buffalo State Student Activity Fee. Have a good night.